Good morning and welcome to the Connect Her podcast, and we are also live streaming today into our Connect Her Collective, which is our women's business network online with Facebook. So however you are joining us today, we have got a show lined up for you that you are going to want to listen over and over again, I am sure. I'm an absolute advocate for EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques, and it's also known as tapping. And today with me, I've actually got two practitioners. They're EFT and Matrix Reimprinting practitioners. I've got Theresa Virgona and also Jo Barker. They actually specialise in working with children and also adults to resolve emotional stresses, anxieties, trauma, health, pain, and also a myriad of limiting beliefs. Now, I know how great this is because I've been through this course and had a major breakthrough myself. So let me tell you, you are definitely in for a treat. Now, these two ladies are primary school teachers and with many years of experience working with children and also adults. And they bring a shared wisdom of how emotional, mental, and lifestyle stresses can impact our sense of belonging, learning, emotional capacity, and resilience, and how this demands of everyday life can also impact our well-being. Theresa and Jo both reside in one of the most beautiful places in Victoria, which is on the Mornington Peninsula in Victoria. And their interests include travel, gardening, cooking, spending quality time with their families, and especially their much-loved grandchildren. So, boy, you ladies have got some experience with children. How are you this morning?
Very well, thank you. Yeah, thank you. We're well.
Fantastic. It is, isn't it, magnificent? We're finally getting a little bit of spring into our days, and as we're recording, it's an absolutely beautiful day. So, let's enjoy it. Now, ladies, as I said, I'm really familiar with EFT and also Matrix because I've been through the course myself. But can one of you share with us what is EFT? And also a bit of Matrix Reimprinting as well, for those that haven't heard of it before.
Okay. Well, look, EFT, as you mentioned, Lee, is commonly known as tapping. It's a fast and simple evidence-based self-help tool. That's what we love about it, because you can administer it on yourself. It's also known as emotional freedom techniques, as you mentioned. And what it does is it combines Chinese acupressure with modern psychology. So you've got the actual tapping and words together. As I mentioned, it's easy to learn and implement and self-administered. And it just involves using your fingertips and tapping on certain points on your body, certain specific acupressure points. And when that happens, it sends a beautiful calming signal to the amygdala, and that just soothes a whole lot of emotions.
It also impacts the hippocampus, which is responsible for your memories. So that comes in very handy sometimes too, different issues that we might be working on. Somebody will have a memory about something that they maybe haven't even thought of for a long time, and you can clear. And that's that issue.
And that's where Matrix comes into place, because it's those memories that often you, as an adult, you retain. Some issue that may have happened in your childhood that has impacted your adulthood in some way.
We've both had those.
We both had those issues ourselves, so we know exactly.
So did I at the course. Like bang, something that I hadn't even thought of since I was about 4 or 5. So
and sometimes that they can be the simplest little things too, Lee. It might, just have been some statement that somebody made to you when you were quite young, but it's it's your perception of that at that particular time. That has the impact. Matrix Reimprinting uses tapping. It goes deeper. We delve into people's help or guide people through going into their memory. We help them to find their memories, and then once they're in there, they're in the driver's seat. They're in control. We help to guide them through, but they're the ones that are using tapping within their while that they've got this memory, and they can change the story, change the way it's happened, teach their younger self another way that they could have coped with that particular situation, giving them the strategies that they need. But what we love about it is it is so empowering because it's coming from your younger self.
Yeah. And the trauma or the memory.
Or your higher self, I should say.
The trauma or the memory that was impacting them, or the fear or whatever it was that happened back in that memory, we can soothe that. And you can eliminate it, and that can go away. And when you're faced with a situation in adulthood, you just react differently because that past trauma or the past feeling has gone.
I totally agree. As I said, mine was a silly little thing when you look at it as an adult, but for a child it was huge. And just doing the tapping and going back on that memory was just amazing. But one of the main things that I love about EFT, along with Matrix, is it's non-invasive.
Oh, yes.
Exactly.
Which
so
is
gentle.
It's so gentle, and as you say, it can be done on yourself. So you can walk away from a session and still continue having that
Exactly.
process happening.
Exactly.
Yeah. So now you've got a company called Tap Happy, which is just gorgeous, with beautiful little smiley faces on there. So how did Tap Happy evolve? Like what came, obviously you're both school teachers, so that would have had an impact, I'm sure.
Well, it was after retiring. We both had experiences with tapping in different ways. So Theresa was at a seminar, and my naturopath did some tapping with me, which was interesting because I'd worked so much on my health, and it was the tapping in the end that made the difference. And, that was the beginning of my breakthrough with my health issues. And so that sparked an interest in both of us. We didn't know each other at this point.
Oh,
but,
okay.
But having our own separate experiences sort of inspired us to go and do a course, which we did with Caroline Dawson, and that's where we met.
Yeah, that's
Do you
right.
want to go on?
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking back to our experiences. We both came from completely different angles. Mine was through pain, and Jo's was emotional. And in the experience too, we also experienced a bit of Matrix, which we hadn't even realised, because the tapping actually went back to a past memory, and that memory was resolved in that tapping session. And so we both went home on a high, and we just, I bought the book. Jo continued with a chiropractor, and it wasn't until a naturopath, and then it wasn't until we had this course became available with Caroline Dawson that that's where we met.
Being teachers, we just gravitated towards each other straight away. It's funny how that happens. And within 2 days, we just thought, we've got to get this into schools. And that's where a great lifelong friendship was born from, and such a great, we've had a really good working partnership together. So we started off slowly. We furthered our qualifications. We did the Tapping for Teachers course that is run by Dr. Peter Stapleton. Now, Peter is a professor of psychology. She's a research professor at Bond University in Queensland, and Peter's at the forefront of research on EFT, along with other psychologists, and they're world leaders in that field, and they're getting some amazing stuff. So that has it's just put another little feather in our cap. And some people still they like to hear the science. I mean, I couldn't care less personally. I'm interested in it, but it's the impact of feeling what it can do. As far as I'm concerned, but
when I turn my light switch on and the light turns on, I'm happy.
Yes.
If the light switch turns and the light doesn't come on, then I want to know why. But, I don't need to know the whole. I say that, but I am so addicted to finding out more information about tapping all the time. So I don't know about you guys, but I've also furthered my education around it as well. I mean, the course that Caroline does is very comprehensive and with Matrix, but you just, I don't know, I just want more and more and more.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so
It takes you to other people too that aren't necessarily involved in EFT, but it just helps you to understand the way that this all comes about and how you can
absolutely
change things and create the life that you want, really.
So really, in the meantime, while we're doing these courses, I had a few teacher connections from school because I experienced tapping while I was still at teaching and then retired the following year. So a few of the teachers, my teacher friends, said, can you help with my child? So once I did a few tapping sessions with their children and they noticed a difference, then they spoke to parents within their classroom and said, hey, this is working, give it a go. So we did I had a few children come to my home after I retired and we some tapping sessions with them. And Jo continued working on her book.
Well, I got the idea of the book and the puppet, so they sort of began there. And apart from that, I was just mainly through friends and a little bit of advertising here and there, and gave us a really good background. Yeah.
So speaking of background, now the people that are listening to our podcast, they are not going to be able to see behind you guys with your shoulder, sitting on your shoulder there. It's a gorgeous puppet. Now, what is the puppet's name?
The puppet is Tootsie. She's Tootsie the tapping fairy. Now, Tootsie the tapping fairy first visited me in the middle of the night. I just woke up and I don't know, she was there. She just manifested. So that got my brain ticking over and over and over, and it took a while, but the idea of the book sort of all came together. So yes, I ended up writing a little book to help to kids.
Tootsie the tapping fairy.
Yeah.
And Jo, we'll find out at the end where people can get the book and how it can help. So I just know that at this stage of what we've all gone through, particularly here in Victoria with 18 months of on and off lockdown, children not being able to go back to school, not being able to, there where you form your friendships and build your relationships and learn how to build relationships, that this is just an amazing opportunity for people to be able to get around that. I've just recently had where I've heard of a very young child that tried to take their own life, and because the coping mechanisms that we grew up with through going to school every day hasn't been there for them. So which brings me to the question is, what do you love about working with children? And particularly, we've had that situation where they haven't been able to get to school. It's all been Zoom and virtual, which, it's great that we've got that technology, but it doesn't replace the face-to-face. So, so what do you love about working with children?
They're just so much fun. We can have so much fun with the kids. The puppet helps, but I think one of the reasons Theresa and I were drawn together in the first place is that we've sort of both had this philosophy with working with children that you've got to make that emotional connection. Yeah. That's first and foremost. And no effective teaching is ever going to happen unless relationship is there first. So, you've got that. And what do kids love? They love to have a laugh. Everybody loves to have a laugh. It's just so much good fun. Yeah. But also,
do you do this in group settings, or is it individual or a mixture?
Well, it has been a mixture. Originally we just started one-on-one with children, always with their parent present, always have the present parent involved, because the parent then can learn and take it away with them. So that's really, really important. But we've also had group sessions as in the school, going into schools. So we were fortunate enough to go to St. Joseph's at Crib Point. We were invited to speak to the parent group there, and they took it. We did 2 sessions with them, and they took it on. And
a couple of teachers snuck into those sessions, and the principal and deputy principal. Yeah.
So the group sessions have happened within the classroom settings, and we've had a whole class where we've presented, and but we've had the one-on-one individual sessions as well.
And how did the children approach it? Like, do they see it as a fun activity, or how do they approach it? And, you know, obviously your love of children will come across. So what do you find with the kids?
Yeah, starting with the little kids, you know, yeah, you go in as a fun time and just getting to know these kids and going to teach them something new. You know, we can use the terms like magic or whatever you want with the little ones. We use the book. We of course have Tootsie with
which
us.
they love, which
Yeah.
they're sort of captivated with, you know.
Yeah,
And she's got a sleeve that we pop our hand in, so she actually can do the tapping as well.
Oh, okay, fantastic.
Yes, which is great.
Yeah. So it's getting the kids. Well, first of all, we would have a talk about emotions, seeing, you know, where they are with emotions, what their understanding is. Now, these days in schools, a lot of the schools are terrific, and that was one thing that we noticed at St. Joseph's. They really had an awareness of their emotions, and whatever you're feeling, you know, that's okay. So, and that's an important part, as you would know, Lee, with the tapping, is accepting yourself and how you feel. So then, you know, and through the story, we can sort of get across to the kids, well, okay, you know, you've got these feelings, but sometimes after a certain time, you don't want those feelings anymore. You know, it's time for those feelings to pass, but sometimes it's hard to get those feelings to pass through you. And so we start to teach them little technique, and once they've experienced it, it doesn't take long. Kids react so quickly and so beautifully to this. It's
and we've had some lovely reports back from the staff who've said that they've noticed their classrooms a lot more settled. The interaction between the pupils has been calm. More work has been covered in the day.
Focus.
And one beautiful report we got back from the student welfare teacher. She was out on the playground doing playground duty, and there was a little grade 1-2 girl out on the ground, so I imagine she'd be about 7. And the teacher saw her sitting on her own, so she went over to check if she was okay. And she said to her, "Oh, I'm fine. I've just had an argument with my friends. I've just decided to sit over here and tap so I can reset."
Oh my gosh, how beautiful!
Yeah. So if children obviously can feel the difference, and if they can do that, and then okay, I've done it. I've tapped. I feel better. I can go back, rather than holding on to that feeling and causing, you know, maybe conflict with their friends or, you know, no resolution. She's able to manage her own feelings.
Tap into it.
Yeah, tap into it and then get back out there and let it go.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, we might leave it there for a moment. We're going to take a short break, and then we're going to get right back into tapping and the benefits for children, but also, you know, adults as well. So we'll be right back. And we are back. So we are talking today on EFT, which is Emotional Freedom Techniques, and we're talking to our gorgeous ladies from Tap Happy. So basically what we've been looking at with Theresa and also Jo is how they work with children, particularly, and using a gorgeous puppet called Tootsie. I love her. She's sitting in the back. If you're listening to the podcast today and you can't actually see our video, which, by the way, you can pop on and get on our YouTube channel so that you can actually get to have a look at Tootsie. Now, we've been talking about some of the great feedback that you've had with working with children, and I'm also assuming that this would reduce down the amount of bullying in a classroom or in a school, given the last little conversation that we just had. Have you found that as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I think the more that you know, the kids are releasing those stresses. I mean, any child that is bullying another one has something going on that's creating their, you know, unhappiness, whether, you know, they're not feeling good enough in themselves, whether there's something that's making them angry, whatever it is. it's usually not the child that they're attacking. It usually goes deeper than that. So
goes some
yeah. But you know, if there is an issue where the kids are having a bit of an issue and a bit of a fight there, or if you know, as far as bullying or just even less, once they start doing the tapping on it, it's amazing how they can change their tune. Theresa, you had that little boy that was upset with the teacher too, remember?
Yeah, I had a little boy who worked with him, just pulled him out of the group. He was really upset with his teacher. And what I love about tapping is that you allow them to use their own words. And no matter, even if we disagree with what they're saying, you just let it come out. And this little fellow tapped and tapped. And he blurted out all the things he disliked. And by the time we had gone we'd been through three rounds, he just softened. It was just like he took a deep sigh and just said, I think I can let it go. I'm going to go and talk to my teacher. And the difference was amazing. It was within a matter of 10, 15 minutes, you know, tapping with him. And it was just like a release. Yeah. So
and I'm just going to ask you to expand on that for those that are not familiar with EFT. So you said that you went through 3 rounds of tapping.
Yes.
So not that specific issue, but can you take us through each round of tapping, what that involved?
Okay.
Yeah. So we begin on the karate chop point, which is on the
there.
side of the hand there, down from the little finger, tapping away on there, and that's where we state what the issue is. So in that case, Theresa, you would have said,
he would have said, even though this teacher, I really hate this teacher, she annoys me and she's picking on me, I'm still a great kid. We always end up with children, we say, I'm a great kid, or I'm a good boy, or whatever. So whatever he told me, that we used his words.
You used his words.
Whatever they were.
So the first round is going on what their feelings are.
Exactly.
Yes,
and then
exactly.
and then second and third, is that the same or is that different?
Sometimes by the third, it's nice if by the third, if you're seeing a little bit of positivity coming through, that's when we'll jump on that. But we generally tend to do 3 rounds, and then we get the kids to reassess anyway. And the more you work with them, the more that you sort of are able to tune in and know. You pick up when they're starting to soften. You know, you're looking at the expression on their face. You're looking at their shoulders relaxing. We pick up on all of those things to know when to start putting those positive statements in.
And the positives with this little fellow were, my teacher does some lovely things with me sometimes. I know she cares sometimes. You know, so we're tapping on those. I know she cares sometimes. She smiles at me every morning. You know, maybe she's not that bad. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, their words come out and they say, okay, maybe I need to talk to her. Maybe I just need to chat. I'm feeling better now. I'm feeling calmer. You know, we just tap on and use their words, and we can throw in a few little words too to steer them.
Yeah.
And then you know when they're ready, because all of a sudden it's like they just go,
yeah.
You know, and we've even had children who had to go I had one little boy who had to go to the office because he'd been naughty, and the teacher couldn't get him to go there, but all of a sudden he just went, okay, I'm ready to go. Put out his hand, let's go. You know?
Yeah.
So it's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just beautiful.
And it's good too, because if you're using their words, they are understanding what emotions they're going through via their words, not having adult words put in there.
That's right. Exactly right. Yeah. And it's, you know, it's a great thing for the future for them too, you know, moving on. They're the ones that are, you know, important. This is about me.
Absolutely.
You know?
It's ownership of their own emotion and not being afraid to put out the rubbish that's worrying them.
Yeah.
And know that they're still a good person anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
That acceptance, and it's okay, all right, but I don't really want to stick with this. This doesn't feel comfortable with me. And being able to learn how they can process all of that and move on.
Fantastic. Now, it's fantastic that you are working with children. And as I said, it's probably the most important time right now, given what, particularly in Victoria, the kids have been going through, but also worldwide, and I've got family in WA and, they've had no lockdown, they've had nothing, and they've virtually been, relatively normal lifestyle. But there are so many places that there hasn't been a normal lifestyle. So where is your future vision for Tap Happy?
Okay.
Given that there's such a calling for it everywhere.
Yeah. Well, with the immediate future, we'll be working back at Crib Point at St Joseph's and at St Mary's at Hastings, working with, we'll be beginning, I'm getting tongue-tied, with the LSOs, the Learning Support Officers. They used to be known as integration aides for those people that haven't got kids at school anymore, and training them up. They won't be practitioners, but training them of how they can help the kids and do a bit of tapping. And then first thing next year, we've got a 4-week workshop that we're doing with the children that are struggling, kids that have got particular social and emotional issues that's challenging and making school life difficult. So sort of starting down small there, but it could be so big. It could be so diversely. We've just sort of got to wait and see. But we've worked with staff numerous times now, and that's something that has become an online thing for us.
It's staff wellbeing. So schools have had wellbeing days just to alleviate staff stress with all that's happened over the last year.
Yeah.
So we've done about 5 of those online, and they've been successful. And one school asked us to come in and work with their year 5, 6 students. And we did an online session with a group of about 60 in each group. Students.
Oh, wow.
And work with them. And it was interestingly, the concerns that these kids have got now. We always speak to the staff first to find out what their concerns are. But things like, the separation anxiety, with little kids. With the
you don't think of that. You think, they're missing school, but all of a sudden they may not have ever known to go to school. They've had longer with mum, and then all of a sudden, I never thought of it that way.
And it's the real little. Look, they've all been impacted in some way, but a lot of the real little ones, they've missed out on some of them are kindergarten and their prep. And then the others, their prep year and their grade 1, and then born, next year they're going to be into grade 2. The older children that have missed out on all of those special things that the older kids get to experience, down to their school camps. I know, our grandchildren have missed out on things like that.
And it was interesting talking to the year 5, 6 children. The things that came up were the disappointments of missing out on birthday parties. The worry about seeing their family upset. If someone got sick, or one school we went to, a group we worked with, they had family overseas. So family overseas had members who had died during COVID, and parents weren't able to go there. So this has impacted on the children as well. So even though we're trying to protect our children, they see what's happening at home, and they get,
for sure.
They get torn too.
And moving forward too, there's going to be those children that have been exposed to too much media. There's, going to be those children whose parents aren't dealing well with the whole situation. Parents who perhaps have lost jobs or are under particular stress because of what they've got to be doing now at work. So it's just huge. So we're confident that we're making a good start with this, and hopefully Tap Happy business is going to expand, and we'll be able to get other practitioners working with us, because I think once this really takes off, I think we could be very busy.
I think you ladies may be, because you're also arming the children with a fabulous tool to take through the rest of their lives. And, I'm sure that you and I, we didn't have any of those tools when we were growing up. It was like, chin up, you'll be fine. just get on with it.
Yeah, no more tears. That's enough.
Yep. Don't be a sookie baby. And we open our businesses with that sort of attitude. We start corporate jobs with that sort of attitude. Like, we don't know any different, but now there's going to be a whole group of children that are going to be armed with this fantastic opportunity to take through the rest of their lives through whatever they happen to do, and they may actually become more successful because they know how to handle the situations that come up where, you know, Connect Her came from the tapping sessions. A whole long story, which I won't bore you with, but it came from that. And that was something that held me back from when I was 5. A little silly thing. These kids have got the tools now to not be held back with what I class, you know, for me it was a silly little thing, but, you know, back for a 5-year-old it wasn't.
No, it was
that's right.
That's right. It's your perception, as we
and Lee, once you teach the children, they have an effect on the parents. So hopefully the parents then will say, hey, this is working, I might give it a go too.
And that's our thing, to be able to get out to the whole school community, you know, yes, the children, but also if we can impact and you know, train up the parents as well as all the staff, you know, that's just going to snowball. So absolutely.
And so if people would like to find out more about Tootsie, how can they, is the book available to anybody, or do you have to go through a session with you guys? How does that work?
No, it's available through our website. So www.taphappy.com.au. They'll find Tootsie on there, so they can purchase the book that way.
Excellent. And you've got some courses coming up, and they're all available on the website, I would assume.
Yes, I probably need to do a little update again. All this technology is very new to us. So,
they're starting again in they'll start in
February, early February.
We thought we'd give this holiday break, have a bit of a break over the holiday period.
Because you'd be very much like working on your business while the school breaks are on. You know, that it could be a great catch-up time for you guys too.
Exactly.
Right. You know, we're always available for individual consults, but as far as Tap Happy itself is concerned, you will be busy preparing for next year.
And do you ladies have many individual coaching sessions outside of the school? Do you do that for people that may be interested, that might be listening to this? Now, we have a huge following over in the US. So I know that you're in beautiful Mornington Peninsula, but with, you know, all the technology we've got now, can you help people everywhere?
Absolutely.
We can. We had a few clients in Brisbane we've done online. And
and it works well. You know, we were both reluctant at first. We thought, no, you know, you just love that face to face. But the way things have panned out, this is what we're doing, and it's just as effective. We've experienced it ourselves in a group setting, and felt the difference ourselves. So it's and
highly
effective.
The online workshops we do, Lee, we have a 4-week course, 1 hour usually Wednesday nights or Thursday nights, and we work on different issues. So people tune in and work online. We have a little group with us, and they've been really successful.
We've put some testimonials up on our website too, so if people want to see the impact that even those sessions have had on people's lives, it's they're worth having a look at.
And we'll have all that in our show notes, so that people can just click on to Tap Happy. But we will say it is taphappy.com.au, and you're also on Instagram. I see you coming up on there, and you've got Facebook as well. So we'll put all those links in the show notes. And so if anybody is watching our live today, then just pop over to the Connect Her website, and we'll have everything there on our podcast, and you can just click on and grab that. Ladies, I want to thank you so much. I think you're doing an amazing job don't actually have children, but I can just imagine the impact that this has on schools, the children, and also their home life. So I think it's amazing what you're doing, and I'm so happy that I got to, I'm so tap happy that I got to chat with you guys today. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for
Lee.
the opportunity, Lee.
Thank you so much.
I wish you every success, and I don't think I need to, because I think it's just going to be fantastic. So well done.
Thank you, Lee.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.